Is Xbox selling off all their games to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch? And are they getting out of the console market? And what about crossplay and backwards compatibility? And when are we getting the new Xbox and PlayStation? What's up, everybody, and welcome to Just Because Gaming. I'm Michael.
And I'm Ray, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about what's on everybody's mind through the rumor mills and everything to answer a lot of the questions that were going around on the internet about whether or not Xbox is going to keep making consoles and what games they're going to share on other consoles with their competitors. The rumors were out there that, they're going to share Indiana Jones and Starfield and Gears of War and all these big titles that are, exclusives to Xbox, when they've been preaching all this time that we're buying all these studios to make, new exclusives to help sell Xbox consoles and build the brand. Well, Phil Spencer came out and actually told us they are not releasing Starfield on PlayStation. They're not releasing Indiana Jones on PlayStation. Those are going to remain exclusives on Xbox. They are going to release 4 of their games that have been exclusive to Xbox that are smaller titles or at least like a year old, and they weren't made specifically to be necessarily exclusive to Xbox. They didn't want to announce which games they were specifically yet, because they want the studios to have the opportunity to announce, hey, this game is coming to PlayStation or Nintendo Switch. They didn't want to steal their thunder for when they do announce. Me personally, I think those games are going to be, you'll probably see Sea of Thieves and Grounded, because they said they were going to be 2 community-based games, or 2 of the games would be community-based games. Those seem the most likely to me. Sea of Thieves has been out for quite a while. And of course, the bigger your player base, the better. And especially if they have cross-play between, Xbox and PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, I think that'll just really grow that series, which has already taken off really well on Xbox. And then Grounded, which is also a surprise hit. Nobody expected it to be as good as it was. So both of those will benefit greatly from being an expanded community with more players. And not to mention the income will help give them the resources to develop and keep that game going longer. The other 2 are going to be indie games, they said. I'm leaning towards, the rumors that we're all saying Hi-Fi Rush, and that seems pretty likely. That game was a real surprise for Xbox, even that it was as big a hit as it was. And then Penitent, which was another small passion project by one of the Bethesda studios that was, I played some of it, and it's a surprisingly decent game, and very unique art style, and just something different out there, which I think will also benefit. It'll benefit Xbox because people will see, these are some of the offerings that are exclusive on Xbox, and these aren't even their big titles. So what are their big titles like? Let me go over to Xbox for a while and try it out. Yeah. Give it a big boost to Game Pass.
Yeah, and I think the funny thing is, I think I saw on Twitter or somewhere like that, someone posted, because they posted the same thing we're talking about those 4 games that are going to be going out to PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, and they said those exact same 4 games. Someone put out a tweet saying that's in the Xbox community, not fans, but producers. They were like, chances are it's going to be these 4 games. So I think you're right on the money for those 4.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good guess and pretty good obvious choices. I mean, they're good games to put out there and feel out. Won't really affect your brand and your business.
Yep.
But yeah, those would be my best guesses. Now that we could all be completely wrong on that. They might have something else in mind, and we could be off by just 1 or 2 of those games. I don't know. Anything's possible. Yeah, there's a lot of games in the Microsoft library to choose from on that.
One of the other things that Phil Spencer mentioned after he addressed the games that could be going multi-platform is that no, Xbox is not going to stop making consoles, because there was a lot of rumors about that Xbox is just going to be a video game developer software and they're not going to make consoles anymore, kind of going that same route as Sega did. But no, that they immediately dispelled that. They're gonna still keep making consoles, which is awesome to hear. So that's always good news, because I was I was a little bit afraid of the same thing. I was afraid that they're gonna go the way of Sega and they're just gonna make all these consoles and make all their money that way. But Phil Spencer in the podcast said that they're focusing on, instead of one or the other, consoles with first party games or making video games for every console. He said, we're going to do both. And that just makes sense, because why pick one or the other when you can do both? And so they're doubling down on their console development, and they're also doubling down on, their all the studios that they've acquired, and making those games multi-platform. So no, for a lot of those games that they've acquired, like for Activision and stuff, you're still going to be able to play like Call of Duty and stuff on PlayStation and everything. They're not taking that away. They're
At least
just
for now. I think at some point it could happen, but it seems really
that's not going to
unlikely.
happen. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot, because they'd be losing half of the money that Call of Duty makes. So no, they're not going to do that. Just
No,
it wouldn't
I don't think they will
make
either.
sense to, because if let's pretend that Xbox and PlayStation were the same amount, so like 30 million Xboxes and 30 million PlayStations, they wouldn't. It's like, would you rather sell 60 million copies of a game or 30? And hope that makes more money in the console division. No, they're gonna sell for both consoles, so that's not an issue. Now they might
Yeah, I
have
wouldn't see
console
that being an issue
exclusives,
either.
huh?
I wouldn't see that as being an issue either. In all truth, I cannot imagine a world where Call of Duty isn't on everything.
Yeah,
They even want to put it on the Nintendo Switch if they can. So,
which is so weird to imagine playing a Nintendo Switch playing Call of Duty. It's like you just finished playing Mario Party and like stomping on little Goombas and stuff and all this cute stuff and like rabbits and stuff, and now you're shooting like Nazis and stuff. It's like, that's an extreme jump. That escalated
yeah,
quickly.
yeah. Also, they had mentioned, of course, that one of the concerns was crossplay and backwards compatibility and cross saves, and they confirmed that they are going to focus on making sure as much as possible that they can have games that are cross-play and your saves will be saved. You'll have cross saves, so you'll be able to play it on your PC, then jump onto your Xbox and continue right where you left off. And hopefully even, between, say, different consoles, if it's on both PlayStation and Xbox, you'll be able to get cross saves that way as well. I know Mike had brought up the question of how are they going to work out the trophies and achievements between those two. That'll be something we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Maybe if you unlock it on Xbox, it unlocks on PlayStation at the same time, or maybe you have to play it on both of them to unlock it, or
Yeah,
kind of remains to be seen.
yeah, that's what I was curious about, because like right now there are some games that are crossplay, like Roblox and Minecraft, and I
Minecraft.
think also Rocket League, the soccer game where
Mm-hmm.
you play as cars and stuff. And I believe those are crossplay. Like you can play with people if you're on an Xbox. I believe those, at least those three games, you can play with Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. I believe. I'm like 80% sure. And the question came, if they did that with like a game like Assassin's Creed, for example, and you played the first 90% of it on an Xbox, and then you wrap it up, you do cross play and you play the remaining 10%, the last like chapters of that Assassin's Creed game, you play it on PlayStation. A lot of the times, for achievements and trophies, they require the previous ones to unlock. Like you can't unlock chapter 10 without unlocking chapter 9, 8, 7, etc. So if you finish up the game on, say, a PlayStation, when you get the next trophy for like chapter 10, for completing chapter 10, are you going to unlock all the previous trophies that are related that are required to unlock that one, or would you not even be able to unlock any trophies? And since you started the game on Xbox, that's where all your achievements would unlock. Or there's a lot of questions that I have, and actually, I'm gonna try that out at some point. I'm gonna find a game that is cross play between Xbox and PlayStation, and I'm gonna see how the achievements and trophies communication works. Because I mean, if you could play a game 99% of it on Xbox, get all the achievements, and then play like the last 2 seconds on a PlayStation and unlock all the trophies. I mean, that'd be kind of fun, you know? It's like, hey, I beat a game twice.
Right, right.
But for my OCD, kind of achievement whore and trophy whore self, I'm like, the thought of that, I love that. It's like, ooh, I can get double the achievements and trophies and only have to play a game once. But I know that achievements and trophies don't really indicate anything. They don't really show like the ability of your gaming skills or anything. It's just an arbitrary number, but whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoy the achievements. We've enjoyed collecting them, and I like some games will take the achievements and make it. I would not have gone to this part of the game had it not been an achievement to chase. So I enjoyed chasing that achievement and playing a part of the game I might have missed out on.
Exactly.
Some of them have annoyed the hell out of me with the collectible achievements. Here, collect 300 of these flags. Thanks, Assassin's Creed 1. No, that was not fun.
I remember you and I chasing the Seriously 2.0 achievement for Gears 1 and 2, where you had to like kill all these locust and everything, and we found chapters where you just are killing like hordes of locust and stuff, and I just remember grinding that, and like eventually I just stopped chasing achievements because of Seriously.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like,
but
and it starts to become just too much time consumption and not enough fun anymore.
yeah,
It's
there's
time to push that
definitely
achievement off.
yeah, there's definitely like a loss of it being rewarding. What is it called? Diminishing returns, where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm spending all this time grinding on these levels or achievements or whatever. Is it really worth it? And
Right.
that's something that I've learned to like kind of loosen my grip on. And now I satisfy my OCD with, instead of getting every achievement and every trophy, I'll try to stop it at like a 5 or a 10. So if there's like 70 achievements in the game or 70 trophies, I'll be like, I got 50 and that's good enough. I'm done. I can walk away from the game now.
Yeah.
And I've satisfied my OCD. I'm like, I got 70. It's an even number. It's a 10. I'm good.
Yep. Another thing that they mentioned in the podcast was Activision and Blizzard and how some of these games are just now going to be starting to be released on Game Pass. Diablo 4 is set to release March 28th, and that'll be the first one from their acquisition that we'll see on Game Pass. So I'm really excited to see what else gets released as time goes on here, because that's a good sized catalog of games.
And that's one of the other things to mention is, just because Xbox or Microsoft is going to be releasing games both on Microsoft Xbox and Sony PlayStation and Nintendo Switch and everything, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's still beneficial for people that have Xboxes, because there's a good chance that it's going to be on Game Pass, which means,
Right.
yes, you will have to pay for it on Nintendo Switch, and yes, you will have to pay for it on a PlayStation, but you get it
If
for
you
free
have
with
Game
Game
Pass
Pass.
on Xbox,
Exactly.
you're playing it day and date that it releases. If it's an Xbox studio, which there's a lot of studios now,
Yeah,
they own
exactly.
a lot of studios.
So it's
And
not
so we get to play 'em.
necessarily a bad thing. It's
No.
still, it's like for Microsoft, they'll still have their gamers that have Game Pass and want to play the game for free. And if you don't play Xbox, then you gotta pay. So I mean, it definitely makes sense. I get it. So
And at $70 a game, it'll add up quickly if there's a lot of exclusives on Xbox that you would like to play. It makes Game Pass a much better value all of a sudden. As
yeah,
these games
honestly,
like
just
Avowed and Indiana Jones and all these start releasing, people are you'll see some people shift over, I think.
Just with 2 games, because I forget how much Xbox Game Pass Ultimate costs a year,
It's like
but
15 a month, and if you buy it, you can go like Costco and stuff, and there's deals, and there's other ways that you can get it a little cheaper, really. So I mean, between 100 to 135, I think, is about what you can probably expect to pay a year.
well, let's just round it to like 150. Honestly, if you can get 2 or 3 games from Game Pass, it's paid for itself because
Yeah,
games are like what, $60. So if you get
70.
yeah, if you
Every
get
game
like two
now
or
is
three games,
70, and they
yeah,
expect them to go up again in the next few years, I imagine.
lovely.
Yeah. Well, imagine what the next. I'm worried about what the next consoles are going to cost us.
Speaking of which, the next consoles was accidentally leaked by that woman. I forget what was her name again.
Sarah Bond.
Yeah, in the Xbox podcast because she. It's funny because she started talking about how there's going to be some interesting things and interesting hardware that they're going to show this holiday season, and then she immediately starts talking about the next generation of consoles, and I'm like, okay, I know I can add 2 and 2 together, but you literally added it for me right there. So she's like, yeah, the next generation of consoles and blah, blah, blah. And there's going to be some interesting things and next generation hardware. And it's like, okay, so without saying it, you're saying that we can expect to see the next gen consoles this holiday season. Probably not on the market so that you can buy them, but you're going to see, we'll at least know what the next console for Xbox is going to be by this holiday season. It might come out next year in 2025, but we'll definitely know 100% by holiday season this year. That's what she was saying. And then on
Yeah.
top of
I
that, she
I
also,
don't think it'll come out. I don't think it'll be out next year. They might have that. Maybe they could work on that handheld version they were talking about,
yeah,
possibly coming out in a couple of years, maybe. That'd be the earliest. But I think before you see another, a replacement for the Series X to be their next powerhouse console, I think we're at least 4 years out on that one. At least.
nah, I don't think so. Because she was already talking about the hardware and all the stuff that they're planning on for the next
Well,
generation of consoles. And I mean, she kept saying, yeah, this holiday season. And since they haven't announced anything just yet, I think they'll announce it. Because one of the other things she said is that in June they're going to have another,
another
I don't,
showcase.
yeah, whether it's going to be like a developer direct thing or an Xbox showcase or a podcast or whatever, they're going to have another one of those. And I think that's when they're going to reveal the next consoles is in June. So we'll definitely want to stay tuned to that, and we'll do a video for that and be going over everything that they talk about then. But I'm putting my money on they're going to reveal it in June and talk about it uh, this December, and then next year, I'm putting my money that they're going to have the new Xbox consoles. And on top of that, on a side note, I know we're talking a lot about Xbox stuff, but PlayStation, there's already been like hardware leaks about the next PlayStation. So I think a lot of this stuff is coming sooner than you expect.
Hmm, I still don't see it being next year. Maybe 2 years down the road. That'd be the earliest they could probably come up with something.
Well, we'll
That's what I
see.
think.
We'll see
Besides,
if
I mean, they haven't milked enough out of this particular generation, I think, to come out with a new console already.
if I were to guess, I would say that by holiday of this year, 2024, that they'll be talking about when they're going to start pre-orders for next year. So like pre-orders will start like January or February or something, like it did when they did Series X and PlayStation 5. I think they'll start pre-orders around like February, March, and then like it'll be available probably like October of 2025, which I will definitely buy the next generation of consoles.
Oh yeah, and I'll probably pre-order it this time so that I don't get stuck trying to get an X standing in lines and outside of a GameStop that's not going to ever work out.
Yeah, I mean, and plus it was like around COVID and stuff like that, so everything was difficult and there were shortages everywhere.
Oh, the chip shortage, it was just ruining the console market, because even with PlayStation and Xbox, you just couldn't get them. You couldn't find
Yeah.
them. They couldn't
Yeah,
produce them fast enough.
it doesn't sound like that's going to be an issue anymore because there've been so many articles about how AMD and all them have been saying that there's not going to be any more shortages and everything, and you're even seeing Xboxes and PlayStations on the shelf at places like Walmart and Target and Best Buy and
Oh yeah.
stuff. So that's not going to be an issue anymore. So scalpers, don't even bother. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to comment on the video and the podcast and subscribe. You can also see in the description all the links to our socials and our website. And on the website, you can also see everything we're working on, including game reviews and releases.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Peace.